can be problematic dealing with an Azir when you don't have necessarily the best way of getting onto him. Like, Wukong can obviously provide dive, but a quick Emperor's Divide can mitigate that. And very quickly, we not only get the GP, but the Swain as well. So a short-range composition, but a composition that is very difficult for short-range champions to go into. So Kalista gonna struggle against, I feel like, a lot of the tools WE has, but Xiaohu on this Azir should have a great old time.
Oh, please, 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 please. We get jungle last pick, please. The only reason, please, please, way, please, please, please. Oh my god! I'm really excited to see the Viego again, Aux. Hey, look. Tell me what do I look forward to in this game? Tell me.
Well, I mean, W's composition functions kind of somewhat similarly to a blender, right? Anything that gets in range of this composition is just going to get turned into mincemeat. Whereas RNG, they have, you know, a bit more of that sort of traditional lockdown with the Gnar and the Amumu. They have these backline DPS carries in the Azir and the Kalista. So RNG's kind of functions as that front to back. You know, you want your CC to be causing disruption, and you just want your Azir and Kalista free hitting. I really like the WE composition in terms of, like, I like how this comp plays, but I do feel like there's going to be some struggles. The Azir is going to be a problem for them, right? If Gnar or Amumu get this big AoE ults, that can also be an issue.
I think as well, you talked about the range factor being there as well. I want to say that with ultimates and with W from Swain, bit of semi-global pressure here. There is a bit of map pressure that can be added in a flick of a beat. So, excuse me, it feels worth mentioning that this GP that is often picked by Breathe, RNG's top laner, kind of coming through here, rounds it out quite nicely. And Aux, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the team fighting pressure that this team can put together, despite the difficulties, and how things look, you know, outside of the realms of suffering from Xiaohu's Azir.
Yeah, I think ultimately a big thing is going to be on this Wukong. Can you connect onto the backline? Because Swain is a champion where if he's in range of you, such a pain to deal with. Aphelios as well. That's the big weakness of Aphelios is range. Gangplank is getting these barrels connected. So really, it's all on Beishang. If Beishang can get an ult onto Xiaohu, onto Gala, if Shanks can follow up, if everyone can hit the right targets, if things can get messy, that is the goal for W's composition. The messier the fight looks, the better off it probably is going to be for WE. Whereas RNG want their same old formulaic, Ming does the AoE ultimate, Breathe slams them into a wall, and in the meantime, Xiaohu and Gala just stack up the DPS, pump the numbers.
And once one person starts dying, I mean, it feels like it's going to be a domino effect, right? We know that with Viego, resets are key. It's like walking into a supermarket and telling them that, you know, you have to pay for vegetables. I think at this point, people understand that Viego likes it when people die. But it's always worth saying it because as a caster, I sound that little bit more intelligent, and I need that in my everyday life. Now, RNG going for a bit of an invade. We're going to be spotted out by a ward here, but it's Lens. But Aux, I think the most interesting part is the fact that they're still hard committing on this with a defensive ward on their own, spotting out Beishang doing the exact same.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is Kalista and Amumu, one of the strongest level ones in the game. The fact you get 2 bandage tosses, and obviously Kalista is just fantastic then. The big thing is that because Beishang has to counter on the enemy red buff, he doesn't get a leash. And Wukong, one of the nerfs he got on 12-12 was to his clear speed. So his E does less damage to monsters in AoE. And so as a result, not going to have an easy time cleaving to the jungle. He should still manage okay, but definitely something to mention. I believe he has to smite his first red as a result now. Did see some heavy trading bot lane, but WE actually maintain all summoners, and Gala's the one who tries to cleanse to get rid of the root.
Yeah, he cleanses thinking that he can get a little bit more off, and that's just summoner down for a nice handshake response from Heal. Now, we know that the vertical jungling here is going to arouse suspicion from Xing and Heal as they move up towards their friendly Raptor camp. Ming with a nice little piece of zoning here if they pop out of the brush. And I like this from RNG support. Always Mr. Reliable thinking ahead. And as he does exactly that way, he's going to have an even safer clear. So vertical is going to make it a little bit more fun here, Aux. And, you know, I want to delve a little bit deeper on the real benefit and how can this snowball out of control for either side depending on success rate.
I think it depends on whether this dive happens. It feels like they're posturing for it. If Xing and Heal hit level 2, it makes all the difference.
Oh, they are level 2. So Xing now with a bailout on top of him, the flash away, not giving him the reset, but it's in the nick of time. Gala survives, Ignite not ticking over, and first blood to RNG now with a bit of AoE set on up. Ming, the god with a bandage toss, the mummy with toilet paper wrapping around. Heal, unfortunately, is going to get out, but unfortunately, it's not the word I'd use with RNG's great lengthy engage.
Yeah, look at the CS difference in the bot lane, right? I was talking about this Aphelios Renata being a strong counter to the Kalista. You know, not when that happens. That's all I'm going to say. And the problem is, it's level 2 is hit, but it's too late. Firstly, Xing is the one who tanks initially. I would have loved if Heal could have stood in front and absorbed the bandage toss. You really need the Aphelios to survive. And then the W comes down from Heal, but no trade kill comes in because Gala flashes away. He was the one who took aggro, so really well played there. And ultimately, the fact that they get all summoners from this bot lane of WE, a massive CS lead, and a kill for Wei, just huge positives. And this is the value of the map split.
That is just so huge already. Great point out here on the CS here, Aux. The first blood on Wei as well. Just feels so nice here for RNG's jungler after the game he had to open up this series. And more importantly, we have to kind of look at the response from WE and what happened topside. The answer is nothing. There's great vision here from Breathe, and he stays safe. Both summoners are still available, so Beishang Aux wasn't even able to make a response play.
Yeah, and I think the problem is, like, a Gangplank is not a lane that can set up effectively. Like, really, if you're wanting to gank a lane, probably bot, but it's more going to be a counter gank, and you can see Beishang's actually looking for that. Now, Wei is pathing down. They see the wave state. This is going to push out for WE, and basically Beishang just wants to make sure this is secure. We'll see if Ming or Gala take the bait, or if they just going to accept this and let it happen. And it looks like they read the situation well, know that Beishang could be on the spot side of the map, and we'll just let it go.
It's nice timing from Beishang, especially with no summoners available for RNG's bottom lane, but still great reservations here from Gala and Ming. Means WE still without a response, still 1k gold down as Wei is feeling good with Sheen. Even going in on the engage, Beishang wants to take it, but the problem is Xiaohu's now here. Beishang comes out of his clone, and maybe it's okay as Wei gets the stun, but it ain't in time. Blast cone taken, and Shanks now trying his hand with Death's Hand, Death Grip, and Death's Ham Sauce. Xiaohu getting pulled on back. The hand, the auto, Shanksy takes his kill, gives the hat back over to Luffy, and WE now finally on the board.
What a fantastic 2v2 from WE. Honestly, Beishang doing so well to buy time in that scenario, get his Conqueror stacked, use his clone to soak Xiaohu's damage, and then get the turnaround. The fact they get both kills as well, and the flash from Xiaohu. Sure, bot's been a disaster, but some excellent play here. We'll see the replay. So one main thing is that the stun from Wei is used very early. And then we see Beishang by this time, watch, burst from Xiaohu used onto the clone. Yeah. Great pull in from Shanks. Remember, Wei doesn't have his flash available. And then Beishang doesn't allow the turnaround kill. And right here, the flash comes out from Xiaohu, but the pull is already there. Last auto in the air just to get it. Really well played from Beishang in particular.
And we're looking at bot. This is what we missed while all that was going on. Are we going to get summoners coming out again? No, wait. Wait, Xing died. Yep, Xing died. Wow, and Gala almost killed Heal, so yeah. I missed that one. And I guess the problem of bottom lane Aux is still there despite WE's final win.
Yeah, the lack of summoners hurts WE's bot lane quite heavily. Obviously, you can see Cleanse and Ignite back up now, but not available there. And this bot lane is so momentum-based for Kalista and Amumu. A lot of people have talked about Kalista as being like a useless champion, being very critical of it. Yeah, globally, I've seen a lot of fans have this view. She's a feast of famine champion. She's a champion where if you play for her, if you set her up, can take over games like we're seeing right now at the moment, that huge amount of damage coming down on a Xing, or if you don't play for her, she falls behind, can just feel a bit invisible. And for now, RNG have set Gala ahead, and they kind of need that advantage considering what's been going on in the mid jungle. Wei, he knows his red's been taken, or at least that it's gone, but not much you can do about it.
Yeah, that's right. So he just lets it go. Being under turret, now a bit of a problem for RNG's bottom lane. Aux, that route hurts a little bit here as Ming has to burn the flash on repeat once again, and WE getting some kind of retribution down in their bottom lane.
Yeah, really well played. Heal, pulls him on the tower, and then we get the Gravitum root just to keep him there. And pre-6, that's the thing, is once Gala hits 6, that same play, all it does is burn the ultimate. So solid coming out there, but not quite enough to get the kill.
Meanwhile, our camera's turned to breathe because Beishang, now with level 6, wants to make himself heard. There's an ulti here for the Mega Gnar as used it onto Beishang. He was expecting it. No Cyclone in responses. We see once again, this Pirate is trying to take over the game. He's 1-0-1 himself. And Aux, after that earlier kill, I need to bring an important topic in the mix. I wonder if we get the Imperial Mandate Swain. Because right now, he is kicking butt. And with that minion wave getting low, Shanks with a minion dematerializer. He's playing with fire. As Beishang still held onto that Cyclone and Wei has the Heartbreaker over. So that's an ulti once again used with Beishang just popping out of nowhere and saying boom.
Yeah, big one, especially if you want to get the resets. The execute from the Viego can make all that difference. And I feel like for the Imperial Mandate, it's the common build we've seen in the LPL. The extra movement speed you get on procs really powerful. Xing,
oh,
what are you doing?
Yeah, Xing versus Ming. And Ming actually comes before the alphabet, so he naturally wins out. Both summoners now down for the 80 carry of WE. All I can say is, yeah, not a good start when we just saw the ult burp from Wei.
Yeah, and now TP coming in from Shanks. It looks like W really want to contest this one, and RNG are feeling tentative.
But will they go in? Nope, backing away. Gala and Ming going to go back to the lane, and a WE still have all 5 members up here, so going to try and get some kind of responses. Breathe walks down as a Mega Gnar. All he can think about is getting that beautiful ulti, but as he goes back to midi and Herald goes down, it is WE.
You cut out for me a second, Jake. Sorry, I didn't catch the end of your sentence, but I don't know if you're still there. So,
Freeze as well, sir.
My stream did not freeze, but you did cut off for me, and I didn't know if you're still there or not, or if I lagged out, you'd lagged out. But we're here, we're there, we're everywhere. Would you see a big wave crashed in bot that W gonna miss out on? And this differential of bot lane, pretty expansive overall. And I think as much as W have done a decent job, the fact they've got the Herald, the fact they've kept the gold close in the mid jungle, still you're seeing CS advantage across the board. And looking at that Herald potentially be something for WE to kind of turn things more in their favor. And you asked if it would be the Imperial Mandate Swain. It is going to be. This is a common build we've seen. Does rely on your teammate to proc it for the damage. But the big thing to remember is that with Swain, being in range of the enemies is one of the most important things. If you can stay on top of people, you keep getting your ult duration really valuable. And every time your ally procs the mandate damage, gives you both 20% movement speed. So that is a big reason why the build has been so popular. Shanks would really appreciate the fact that he can stay on targets, but I don't think he needs that now.
Yeah, Curse of the Sad Mummy's in. Poor Amumu had no friends, but RNG decide to go in and maybe make him some. But Shanks, that E was beautiful. Wei's going to die as well. No reset for him, and Ming's up next.
Oh, my Lord.
My God, Shanks is just on another level this game.
The stopwatch was so clutch, and this is why, despite the fact that Mandate Rylai's is such a broken combo, we often see Zhonya's second because you can do things like that. Buying the time. Remember, you do heal when you're in that stasis, and so much invested by RNG to make the kill work, but Beishang there to turn it around. And you know what I said at the start of the game, Hysterics? The messier fights get, the better it is for WE, and that seemed very messy in my eyes.
Oh yeah, this was a pile of mess. This is like going down to the rubbish heap and seeing so many goodies, but you got to get your hands dirty to get them.
Yeah, great stasis to stop the Emperor's Divide, and then you see him just healing up enough. The knockoff from Beishang buys time, health coming in. Obviously, you also get the soul. When you take down a target, you also get a heal. So Swain able to survive, and Beishang just there with a cleanup damage. And now RNG are going to be able to find the dragon off the reset timers. But WE have managed to equalize the gold with Herald still in pocket.
And bottom lane is not that far behind anymore. It was the 20-30 CS lead brewing. Gala is now only ahead by 10. Mid is 3-0 here. And despite the mandate, has a level up as well. Is still going to have so much damage at this point in the game. I mean, Shanks is showing up massive here on this Swain with 100% kill participation. And also Beishang with the same. So there's a lot to talk about right now from the mid-jungle duo Orcs. And you talked about the messiness coming through. I mean, they're going to have a lead. So they can play it even a little bit cleaner than the mess. What's cleaner than mess? Somewhat hoarding. You know, everything's in boxes. How's that?
You know, shit, that works for me. That works for me. WE do throw down the Herald, and they're looking to give some gold to Xing. This is much needed. He has not had a good laning phase. So we'll get a cash in off those plates. They don't quite get the first tower, and they're not going to risk a dive. Would be difficult against the Amumu and the Kalista ult as well. Cleanse Flash for Gala available. But we'll at least get that cash in for the Aphelios. Close up that gold gap at least somewhat.
And something that for RNG now, we have to explore how as BiuBiu gets a barrel chain. It will be Mega Gnar from Breeze, so don't worry about it, folks. We're okay. We have to kind of explore next moves for RNG, because dragon stacking is a thing. Herald's coming up in a minute 55. But right now, they're probably scared about Beishang appearing somewhere, as Gala will be. Pierce not available, so he has to flash over the wall. And with his turret being about a sneeze away from going down, Beishang wants to set up a dive with Shanks.
Yeah, I mean, they can just go in, pop the tower, and then follow up on the play. So RNG know, especially with Gala now not having flash, they have to back away. And you can see how scared RNG's mid-jungle is. You know, if Shanks and Beishang go in the fog of war, Xiaohu and Wei won't follow. They don't want to mess with them. They don't want to tango for the time being. And as a result, they will just have to give up that bot tower. More gold put on to Xing, who is in desperate need of it. And now a 1,500 lead for the side of WE. Still down in dragons, but a cloud in 245 could shake that up.
And what I was saying,
but obviously Herald in a minute, though, is going to be a bit more of a priority.
That's a good point. What I was saying, though, before, Aux, was when I cut out so rudely by my internet, we were having a bit of a discussion about WE, where they fall apart, where they've been going wrong this split. I mean, WE's early game in this series have both been, like, really respectable. It's been quite controlled. Beishang has had a much better time, and I feel like WE in the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, where they've kind of been striving.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think they've managed to play to their win cons, I think is the main thing. When I've said, you know, game one, they just need to stall out. They managed to do so. This game, when the mid jungle was a strength point for them, they've managed to find opportunity. And as much as the bot lane has fallen behind, they've mitigated that. So I'm excited to see how the team fights play out as well. I said before, I like how WE's comp functions, and it really kind of is on Xiaohu to be the mitigating factor, but currently he is behind.
Yeah,
and
quite
Shanks
a bit.
Challenging him whenever he gets the chance.
Is challenging him right in front of Herald that spawns up, and WE are on this objective now. RNG want to take the fight with Breathe down on the bottom side, TP available. BiuBiu doesn't have his own, but his ulti is there. And now the biggest question, Aux, is if they come in for this one, are they going to win the fight? You're not going to get time to answer it for me as Beishang gets a smite down. The poke comes through. Xiaohu, as you said, bit of kryptonite here is Ming. Oh, with a three-man ulti yet again, sacrificing his life, but the face call makes it not so. As a hostile takeover used, actually a slap in the face as Shanks now joins in. A bailout onto heal will save his life, thanks to the sniper in Xing. A triple kill coming through, and RNG confident over nothing.
WE were like, guys, we get the Herald, we just get out. And RNG are like, no, take a few kills as well on top of it. Diving in, and the most pivotal thing is that hostile takeover from heal was absolutely massive. And you know, I was talking about the range that an Azir has. If you play at a distance, what can WE's composition do? Well, you know what? If they don't play at a distance, that's what WE's composition can do. You dive into the likes of a Wukong and a Aphelios or Swain. As I said, it's like a blender.
Oh yeah, it is. Gala not doing too much here against this GP while we look away, but 2K gold lead. We're about to get a replay of this one, and the blender making up some good smoothies for WE.
Yeah, so Beishang gets away. It's only real heal who is like the main primary target of this, but the hostile takeover combined with the knockup hits everyone, and then heal actually goes down to Breathe. But with the bailout, look at this. The last auto keeps heal alive. And yeah, I think RNG very overconfident there. We see the Herald going over to WE. They threw it down mid and got the tower low, but they will pick up the first dragon of the game. And, you know, a lot of people like to slam Cloud Soul. We already talked extensively about how if Swain stays on you, if Wukong gets on you, it makes all the difference. That movement speed is a massive asset. If you can get that Cloud Soul, it can make all the difference with closing the distance on RNG. So not something to be ignored. But for now, WE looking to push in on mid. That's a low health tower they're looking to take down.
It'll be the second one as well. There's no chance RNG defend from this, and you can see that WE now moving as a 4-man pack, feeling so confident with Shanks on the side. Beishang taking away camps too, and this game going from bad to worse for the MSI champs. The gold lead at just over about 3k, or getting close to, I should say. Map was my speciality, as Beishang dealing a bit of damage to Wei, but Wei doing more, and for now, RNG trying to set up defensive measures before we get towards Baron, before we get towards the next Dragon, as Bree's about to go Mega Gnar. Shanks could be in a bit of trouble, but he has those on his Hourglass now, and Bree pays his respect.
Yeah, Shanks having to pop the ultimate because he felt a bit concerned about Bree's Mega. Just ends up burning it for nothing pretty much, but ultimately there's not really much to fight for on the map at the moment. Being said, RNG looking to potentially set up for this tower, but no wave to work with. Should mean it's going to be a bit trickier.
Beishang's behind them. That's the biggest problem here. A good bandage toss, the ultimate as well, cursed sad moment, but the Zhonya's to buy time with a great ulti in return from BiuBiu. Ming takes a turret shot, which sets him up for a barrel chain, and now on top of Beishang, this 1v1 through the junglers looks easy. RNG just getting slapped with the WE wallets.
Yep, so much time bought by Shanks with the Zhonyas. They're out of return now. The counterpoint is, we can see on the bot side, Xiaohu, 200 CS highest in the game, is hammering away at a tower, but still a winning play for WE.
I'm kind of wondering, Trinity Force versus Trinity Force here. The solo lane is battling it out. We ain't going to get the true 1v1 as RNG do get a bottom side turret, but still a lot of concerns here as we look at the dive once again, and Shanks buying so much time.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's going to go down, but just the Zhonyas, the extra armor helping out to survive from Wei. And shit, Wei does manage to get the reset, but doesn't really want to stay in Swain. Swain with his ultimate, not the strongest, especially as Imperial Mandate needs your allies to proc it, and Beishang just able to clean up on that Viego.
Okay, well,
I mean, what a game Beishang has had, by the way. Both him and Shanks have 100% KP, but 0 deaths so far on this Wukong. Fantastic performance.
I mean, hell, even Xing has recovered well. I feel like the whole of WE are showing up in this game, and against RNG, what a better time for WE to start coming alive. Now, we saw in game number 1, WE held out. They had the scaling composition, but it's RNG's mid-game orcs where you keep telling me this is their strength. This is where they come alive. Some of the best mid-game team fighters in the league. And they're setting up here to try and take down WE in a bit of a choke, but you told me, short range, nice and scrappy. W will take this 2 times out of 2 as, yep, there you go, give it over. Nice and scrappy does it. Hey, RNG, what have you got to say? As Breathe, that's a big ulti, but it doesn't matter because the fight's already over, and maybe with it the game too.
Yeah, I think the question is, would they go on to Baron here? They don't have a jungler available, but if you look at the summoners on the left side of your screen, Shanks has the smite from the spellbook, so I think that gives them the confidence to go for it. Xiaohu and Ming no ultimate. Xiaohu has his though. Can they make the dream happen?
That range that you talked about needs to come in, punishing low, but they draw Xiaohu in. He flashes for the ulti, but it's out before he's dead as Ming wants to steal, but they won't even give him that much. WE secure themselves the Baron. Shanks the one to do so. He keeps that 100% KP as we look at WE's game 2. That may just end up in a win.
And it's just a great catch from the Swain. But look at the hostile takeover again. 4 members hit, right? And it's not just the auto damage to each other. It's the CC, it's the disruption. Allows them all to gain ground. And once more, a messy fight for RNG results in WE just taking control. And then here, again, Shanks so on point with the root coming out on the Swain. Ends up catching this onto Xiaohu. And at that point, the dreams of the Azir are over.
Oh, yeah. He can't even get the ult out after he dies. In fact, it's Ming even trying for the steal. RNG behind, 4,000 gold. WE, a very rare feeling right now, getting excited about this team, but it's looking good now with the Baron push coming through Orcs and the multiple lane setup. However, it is actually just bot. I'm a bit wrong here because top seems to be RNG trying to get a turret of their own.
But that's the problem. You're near Gangplank. Doesn't take much for BiuBiu to clear out the waves now. There's another one stacking up, which they may be able to defend a bit better. And RNG doing a good job. Considering enemy team has Baron, if you're able to trade evenly, or even just trade at all, can be seen as a positive. And they will get this in a tower, so a bit of gold coming in. But in return, we see WE pushing into that tier 2 mid. And there is also Dragon on the cards as well.
Okay, well that'll be the second dragon here for WE too. It eventually goes down. Xiaohu's still slow making the back as the ping goes down on him. And BiuBiu trying to stop it. In fact, he does stop the back. So WE have themselves a free push mid still, even despite the Mega Gnar. They're going to pay a bit of attention to that and back away themselves, but Wei wants a flanking angle. He's spotted out on a ward. RNG can't get a break here, and something's got to give. Shanks is still searching for him. There's only one brush left to go. At least he does the do-si-do, and he's going to get out of here, but WE will have themselves a free dragon as full told.
Yep, so second of the game, still a while away from Soul, and their individual clouds aren't massively useful. Out of combat movement speed, slow resistance, it's okay. But the main thing to talk about is the goal lead. 5,000 ahead for WE on the back of that Baron. They're in such a good position. Look at the item spikes for Shanks, the 3 items for the Swain, the Rylai's Mandate, that really strong combo, and the Zhonya's to buy time as well. And now WE, they're not done. They are looking for this top tier 1. Last lane with towers outside the base, and Xiaohu quickly realizes he can't hang around.
Yeah, he can't. He's already been bursted out a bit by BiuBiu, who has probably had one of the most quiet parts of this WE game, but still hurt so much with the barrel chain. The W as well, shifting sands out of that one. And while Breed pushes bottom lane, another inner turret here, but with Baron buff expiring, it doesn't matter. WE have so much control. Orcs and Waves trying to stop that.
Looking for potential TP flank. You have Mega available for Breathe that has just proc, has activated, and I think with that happening, you know they're not going to look for a fight. Xiaohu trying to reset gets stopped, but I honestly think WE might just be able to go for the tower now.
They're trying for it. Graviton comes in with the Moonlight Vigil, and Beishang is denied with the Cyclone Whirlwind. It's a good cannon barrage, but it helps WE take down the turret. 7,000 now the gold lead here at 24 minutes in the game. RNG routed a little bit as Wade tries to stop some of these backs, but the rest of WE stop with him. It's good unity here from WE to say the least.
Yep, don't leave a man behind. Don't let RNG find the opportunity to get a pick. And now WE have a substantial lead. They're in a really good position this game, and RNG, they need to have flawless execution in fights, but also probably just a misplay from WE. They need to find an advantage and make something happen, because for the time being, WE, and I mean, this team is 0-6 in series, right? I believe they've only won 3 individual games.
That's right.
And today, game 1 was a loss, but they made it a fight, right? They made RNG work for it. In game 2, they are in control. Where's this team been, Hysterics, for the rest of the split?
I know. I mean, the power properties of Shanks, of Beishang. I remember 2019, Beishang was all the rage because he was kind of like the Beatles. You know, he came through, he's the new thing on the block, and he could sing really well. Well, he could jungle really well, right? And so, you know, Beishang is kind of like, maybe he's like Ringo Starr for me. You know, he's always been a lead member of the team. However, he's had some really disappointing performances recently. What's that famous quote? I think Joe says it all the time. You know?
Yeah, when John Lennon was asked, is Ringo Starr the best drummer in the world? And he said, he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles.
That's it, dude. That's it. Maybe irrelevant because I think Beishang is definitely the best jungler. However, is he the best player? You know, that's a question I've been asking for the last couple of years. More importantly, you know, he's having a stellar performance in this series, and once again, Beishang seems to be at the top of his game. But WE closing this game out as paramount, as you said. RNG need flawless execution if they want to mount a comeback, but more importantly, I think WE as well have to dot the I's and cross the T's properly. No skipping steps here for the 0 and 6 team.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say Mega Gnar plus the Amumu ultimate, the Curse of the Sad Mummy, plus, you know, Azir, Empress Divide. If you clump and all these hit everyone, that's how you win for RNG, right? The wombo combo. Rabadon's just picked up for Xiaohu as well. And you can tell they're fishing for their way back in the game. Baron is up in 15. Dragon in a minute 25. WE can afford to take the slow, but RNG have to be fishing. Any opportunity, any moment that suggests that it might be a window you should go for. But I want to draw attention to something, Hysterics. If we look at the inventories, we've already talked about the Zhonya's for Shanks, but Beishang and Xing both have stopwatches available. So a whole wombo combo, pick them off, group them together in the AoE, going to be a sizable bit harder as a result.
Yeah, that missed execution has to come through then. Like, stopwatches galore is so nice to see here from WE. And with 45 seconds till Dragon comes up, I guess we get an insight as to whether RNG are willing to throw everything against the wall to make that one stick. or if we do see a bit of a flip coming through. WE putting pings over Baron right now, Aux, and as they set up for deep vision once again, notice that in the pit, RNG with only one ward, and that's just been spotted out, so they have to be the ones to walk into this comp that wants to play it messy.
Yeah, they make sure there's a Glasc. Oh, they're looking.
Heal is a bit deep. Breathe is one going in into Gnar. Beishang gets caught out by Wei as well. Already a good start for RNG as Breathe heads on up into the big dino, but he doesn't have anyone to pummel against a wall. W move back to the mid lane to deny the push here from RNG, and things are still very scattered here, all in the name of securing Baron buff vision.
Yeah, I feel like this is so weird from WE. They could have just played for the dragon, but they just don't care about it. Going towards the Baron, but look how low Beishang is already.
Yeah, that's a half HP heal too on top of that, Orc. So with 5 members here and Beishang trying to go invisible, he doesn't get his Dream engaged. Now, Breathe might be into the mini Gnar, but time is on RNG's side, and with the dragon taking, meaning they could possibly get Soul in 445, Xiaohu's still split pushing. They're looking for an engage onto Gala, but he's not going to give it to them. And for WE, it's like, okay, now we have to clear vision around Baron again. Xiaohu has to be contested here.
Like, Baron is the best place in the game. You know, I'm talking about that wombo combo. Baron pit is a circle. Do you know what else is a circle, Hysterics? Ming's ultimate, right? That is like the best position for WE to throw a game. And yeah, instead of just taking the free dragon, having Soul as the extra win con, they do this very messy play around the Baron, and it ends up costing them dragon, costing them some pressure on the bot side. Now RNG, they're the ones in control of the area.
Breathe is back
this
into
is a team with 6k gold down, by the way. It doesn't feel like it.
I mean, we talked about the flawless mid-game macro of RNG. This game hasn't been as much as Gala slowed down as Shanks wants to get in there. BiuBiu now joining up as well, and WE have mid lane prior, but the minion wave is so slim. Breathe might not be in the Gnar, but now the angle, the pincer movement here, it's so expanded. Xiaohu's ulti great onto Beishang as well. Wei is spotted out as Xing is there, but Ming with a 3-man ulti is getting scrappy again. That's going to be an issue as the hostile takeover does wonders. WE have been given yet another fight as Gala goes golden, but Wei looking for his resets. Again, the bailout great as Xiaohu jumps on in for this one. Xing trying to deal with Gala, but Xiaohu is hidden away. Shanks lucky to survive as WE are left with 2, but the scrappiness this time only just goes to WE.
Yeah, a very messy one, and you see there, WE not playing the fight as they should, and as a result, it nearly goes wrong, but the goal difference is enough. Xing goes untouched, doesn't even have to use a stopwatch, and now they're going to be able to push it and take this inhibitor. I don't think they'll be able to end the game off the back of this, but it's still a sizable teamfight win for WE. I mean, as much as I say that, a lot of gold in the pockets of RNG, but the goal lead still maintained.
No, we're just concerned here. Concerned the fact that WE, it's not dotting I's and crossing the T's. It's putting the little squiggly mark on the A instead. You know, and I know that's a different language, but it's confusing for me, Orcs.
Yeah, it feels like they rushed their homework, right? It's like they're doing it at the start of the lesson before the teacher asks for it. And you see here, they're corralled in. Bad engage from Beishang as it's interrupted by Xiaohu. And look, Xiaohu is playing at max range. This is where it's problematic for WE. They can't connect onto him. He's playing at a distance. Shanks has to Zhonya's, but he's not actually connecting with any important targets as he is. The problem is here, Xiaohu goes for the hero play to dive in, and he just ends up too close. And now, as soon as Xing can start hitting, as soon as Xiaohu is up close to the Swain, that's where WE once again find the advantage.
And once again, we're going to play this game, I think. Nice stun from Wei, predicting Beishang to go into the clone. RNG have a Gnar once again, but WE this time, they've cleared away all but one ward. The problem is, that ward in the back of pit won't be spotted until now. W walk through, they don't have a lens. Put the control ward down. RNG can see this, and they've even spotted out Beishang over the wall. That's with Wei's lens coming through. Or maybe they thought it was a Krug camp. I don't know about this one.
They thought it was a Krug!
Oh,
they thought it was a Krug!
They thought that monkey was part of a different animal kingdom. Gala's been the one caught out here as Fate's call to save him, but he won't be saved into GA. They're now down a member in the middle of Death Pit. WE with their kill, they're shut down, and they're way in to close out this game too.
I'm not sure it's enough though. Yes, they kill Gala, but look at the ults for WE. Swain without his is a lot weaker, and everyone else is down as well. This could be volatile.
Ming without his, though, is worth mentioning as Barrel Train tries. Xing goes in with the Gravitum onto Gnar, but the damage in return from Xiaohu. Orcs, you pointed him out for a reason. At half HP, this Azir seems to be the emperor of WE right now. If he dies, they win. If they die, RNG take it back.
And after all that, the Baron is not secured. And now it's 50 seconds until that dragon. But the problem is, right? Oh, we got to see the replay.
What happened? Krug? Monkey?
There it is.
That does
There's
not
a monkey
belong.
next to that Krug.
That does not belong. Krug does not look like that. Well, what?
He just had to cosplay as a Krug. That's all he did. And RNG was just like, hey, that's a funny looking Krug. And then just
ignore it. Ignore it. Even though it was so sussy. That was so sus. I don't know about this one.
Man, these Krugs come in all shapes and sizes nowadays.
True. What patch is this? The League of Legends added in a third monster to that camp. RNG, look, they might not spot it out or rather pay attention to it, but it's not groundbreaking for now. The pick onto Gala comes through and his GA is down, Aux, which is worth mentioning considering he won't have a second chance like last time to buy a bit of time. But RNG over the wall while they're zoning out. While Dragon's being taken here by BiuBiu. They're trying to sneak away the Baron, but that is no cigar here as Shanks comes in with a never move on to Breeze. He's about to go onto the Mega Gnar. The ulti back by space. The Xiaohu does the same, but the hostile takeover flashed away as it only Xiaohu. Now they're on the chase as RNG are getting out of their own jungle, but the Dragon was taken. A lot was used to get out of there and escape, and RNG now with a bit of disadvantage as we walk back around this Baron dance again.
But you gotta say, WE once more, look at the ults. It's like as soon as they say it's go time, everyone just spams the R key on their keyboard, mashes it into the ground. And if they find the fight, they find the fight. If they don't, they don't. And there, they weren't able to stay on the targets. Shanks ult times out. They have to back away. And here's the frustrating thing a little bit, Lyric, is they got the Dragon, but they should have had Soul. They should have had Soul already at this point of the game. But unfortunately, because they just let that one go earlier, they now have to wait another 4 minutes. You can see how much harder it is for them to set up around this Baron as an alternative objective. Would have been a pretty easy one just to pick up the Dragon, but now they have actually started up on the Baron, and RNG have to contest.
And they got multiple angles here. Way on the left, everyone else on the right. Xiaohu's still here. The Never Move not connecting on the Azir. Ming with the two-man ulti. The poke begins as Shanks takes a hell of a lot of damage. And yeah, that Mega Gnar could be the end as Ming still survives. The Emperor's survived. Great, but Xiaohu getting low and dead. WE have found their Emperor, and Gala's up next on the menu. There we go. Finally a reprieve as RNG are left with Breathe, but I don't think RNG are breathing well at this point as Beishang back into the Cyclone Breathe out of a Mega Gnar, the Heartbreaker out, the hostile takeover, like a wave of death approaching them, and WE with the mid lane wave want this game to end now.
Let's see if they can do it. Pings are coming out. They want to end. They have TP from Shanks. You can rejoin. But this is a full HP Viego, full HP Gnar they have to deal with, and that is not a big wave.
Any summon is available. Wei does have his flash. TP coming through, as you said, onto the turret as Xing is one targeted, but he's taking down the turret fast. The flash away from Breathe. Goes into Mega Gnar, gets a two-man stun. He's buying time, but now he's dead as Wei finds a reset in front of 3 people. Turns into Aphelios. Another hostile takeover coming through. Excuse me. A little bit of Heartbreaker, and Ming's by himself. The mummy will die once again. No friends, no hope, no worries. But at least for WE, a game in the books here in this very empty split.
And they managed to challenge RNG 4th game win of the entire split so far. Still not really high up in the numbers in them. But again, such a formidable opponent has to be recognized as an achievement. I love the Swain. I love the composition. The Azir, we said, was going to be a problem. And you saw it start to rear its head. But they got the backline access. They all jump onto Xiaohu. And as much as their mid-game left something to be desired, WE showed they can still take names.
I mean, for RNG, look, you know, getting dismantled a little bit in the early to mid-game was a nice little, I guess, contrast to WE, who've come into this series in both games now and have had a really solid foundation, I feel. This is not the 0-6 team we're expecting to see come in, but you could also say that for RNG, not the perfect fighting team that we kind of expected to see in the mid-game, Aux.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the fights were hard. And that last fight where Xiaohu died, he had flash up. I just want to just point that out. And I don't want to harp too much on him. I don't want to say this is on Xiaohu. The whole team had issues that sort of were failings. But ultimately, you know, the fights were better executed by WE. I said in game 1 that the scaling from WE was going to kick in, but ultimately RNG just managed fights so expertly. This time, it was WE, and as much as there were moments where I looked maybe like it could go back in RNG's control, that goal graph was still very blue at the end of the game.
Yeah, it was. Well done,
Xiaohu's
WE.
damage, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. The condition of RNG. As soon as he was dead, WE knew it was over. WE knew that was their game to take away. Like, Xiaohu survived so many different fights, but that late in the game, WE took control. And nice to see, considering we danced around Baron, I think 7 or 8 times in the span of about 10 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth. And, you know, I was critical. I said they could have just taken the dragon, had Soul sooner. They didn't need it in the end, but definitely not a flawless game, I think is what we can sort of summarize. But at this point, I think WE take any win they can get. And we go to a game 3 with WE on the cusp of not only taking a series against the MSI champions, but if they win this series, then they would be undefeated against RNG for the entire year so far, which, to be real, Hysterics, nobody teams can claim that, right? That is a rare title to have. And RNG, definitely still some questions about their current form.
Yeah, a lot that we can talk about, I know, as we come back from the next break. I like that Xiaohu's damage to gold is actually nuts, by the way.
Look at his damage percentage as well. Yeah, he did damage, 43. If that wasn't clear.
Yeah. Did Gala do any? No. Look at the range. Look at the range difference.
Oh, dude, and look at Shanks, KP 100%. And, like, we do see some 100% KPs, but, like, over 26 kills. 26 kills. And he was a part of every single one. That's a lot.
Yeah. 36-minute game to get 100% kill participation on your point. That's just nuts entirely. That's props from this Swain, who felt to be the reason why WE won this game in the first place, alongside Beishang. It felt like this jungle mid had a lot to say here for WE, and so makes it exciting. We go to a game 3 to see if finally WE can get